So.
This is Thaughts United Historic Rally Team. It's me, Jorgen, and
Mark Markon from Mellowood Medical.
Yes, and we are in Stockholm right now at Svenska Bil, and we have just been out driving a Saab 9.5 Linear with a 160 horsepower diesel engine with manual transmission. So, Mark, what's your impression of this car?
Well, speaking from the passenger seat, and speaking of the seats, I'm not a fan of this textile upholstery. I'll be perfectly frank, I find it a little bit cheap. Support-wise, initial cushion, but you end up settling into a hard substrate. I don't think it would wear all that well, and I can imagine after, say, 20 or 30,000 kilometers, it would feel like an office chair that wasn't quite bolstered sufficiently. That being said, I do like the electronic lumbar adjustment. I think that's a nice touch. But certainly compared to the perforated leather seats that I experienced on the full-blown six-cylinder version, the XWD version in Ohio at the Saab Owners Convention, I don't think these hold a candle to them. And I personally, as a North American, am thankful that we don't have these base-level entry seats.
So, what about the rest of the car? Well, we have that's about sort of sitting in the car.
Yeah.
What about the performance of the car on the road?
Again, my first experience in a diesel. Had the privilege of a six-cylinder XWD, all singing, all dancing aero version in Ohio. One thing I did notice, and this is something that Graham Lambert has mentioned in his review, in his Auto Express review, a bit of noise from the pillars, and not a function of the fact that it was windy outside, because indeed, Jorgen, we had a look at the treetops, and they weren't swaying. So I would identify that, or would confirm that issue mentioned by Graham. Minor, but noticeable nonetheless.
Okay. My impressions then from the driver's side here is that it's a diesel, and it's not the most powerful diesel, but it does its job pretty well. The suspension is, of course, it's an entry-level linear, but it holds on quite well. We took the car to its limit, I think.
Truly.
We sort of went into some really tough turns, and the ESP system had to work quite a bit, and it held the car on the road. We are still back. So.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's a great driver's car in that respect. It runs nicely on the freeway. In 90 kilometers an hour, you only have 1,100 revs, something like that. So it's definitely in a manual transmission mode, manual transmission car, you can get really great mileage in a car like this.
Yeah, I imagine.
So if you're a salesperson or anything like that, perfect. And manual, I thought it was a very nice and easy gearbox. Though you will get into the red scale at 4,500 revs, but hey, it's a diesel. So what's the next car we're going to try?
I think we're graduating to a petrol version, are we not?
Yeah, we are. So come back to us, check the next episode of the adventures of the Thaughts United Historic Rally Team when we take on the 220 horsepower petrol.
Woo!
Yeah.
Can't wait.